Discovering Minghun in China. What you need to know. In this video, we will explore Minghun, a unique and fascinating concept in Chinese culture. If I had to choose the most lively and boisterous wedding in the world, I would definitely choose ancient Chinese weddings. Here, you can see everything needed for a grand celebration, from lively drums and trumpets and red lanterns to booming fireworks. I bet you wouldn't be able to resist a wedding banquet with fine wine and sumptuous food like this. However, not all weddings are truly joyful occasions. The scene before you is a ghost wedding. The bride is still beautiful in her traditional headscarf, but where is the groom? We won't meet the groom because he is dead. You heard right. This is a ghost wedding. So what exactly is a ghost wedding? Where did this practice originate, and how terrifying is it in reality? To discuss the origins of ghost weddings, we must go back to the Three Kingdoms period and the story of one of Cao Cao's sons. Among Cao Cao's children, Cao Shong was considered the most talented and intelligent, and he was thought to be destined to inherit the family's legacy. Unfortunately, Cao Shong died young, at the age of 13, before he could marry. Heartbroken, Cao Cao sought to arrange a posthumous marriage for his son. He sought out families with deceased daughters, hoping to unite the souls of the two children. Sometime later, Cao Cao learned that the Zhen family had recently lost a young daughter and went to propose a spiritual union for Cao Shong. The two families chose an auspicious date, held a ghost wedding, and buried the young lady of the Zhen family next to Cao Cao's grave. From then on, the custom of ghost marriage began to take shape. Ghost marriages flourished most during the Song dynasty. According to records in the Zalmain Lu, if unmarried young men and women died prematurely, their parents were obliged to arrange ghost marriages for them. But why was this custom so important in ancient China? It was believed that a person who died single would be lonely in the afterlife. There was a fear that the deceased's spirit might try to take a living family member with them for companionship. To prevent this, the family had to find another spirit to accompany their loved one in the afterlife. For young people who were engaged but died suddenly, the family had to organize a ghost wedding also. Otherwise, it was believed their spirits would cause misfortune for the family. Another more practical reason was inheritance. When a deceased son has a designated wife, the family can adopt a male relative as the couple's son to inherit property and carry on the duties of ancestor worship. Finally, feng shui played a role. Lonely graves were thought to negatively affect the prosperity of descendants. So ghost marriages were a way to ward off misfortune for future generations. So how does a ghost wedding take place? When the marriage is between two deceased people, the process is quite ceremonial. First, the parents must find a ghost matchmaker, a person who introduces families with children who have died young to propose the marriage. Then they consult an oracle. If the divination is favorable, effigies of the couple are dressed in wedding clothes, and a wedding ceremony is held before they are buried together in a shared grave. The ceremony proceeds much like a wedding for the living. The groom's family must give gifts to the bride's family, and all the food and drink are real. Only the clothes and jewelry are paper offerings, which are burned after the ceremony for the couple to enjoy in the afterlife. During the ceremony, if both the bride and groom have passed away, they are represented by effigies placed on the altar. Gifts given to newlyweds in a living wedding, such as household items and money, are replaced with paper offerings. These are burned along with the effigies to ensure the couple can live comfortably in the afterlife. Throughout the ceremony, the effigies are treated as if they were alive. Later, the two families choose an auspicious date to exhume the bodies, and the bride is reburied next to the man she was married to. If a living groom marries a ghost bride, a photo of the bride is displayed, and the groom wears black gloves instead of the white gloves worn at a typical wedding. Ghost marriages have been officially banned by the Chinese government since 1949. However, enforcing this ban, especially in remote rural areas, has proven difficult, and the custom still exists. Some wealthy families in these regions still believe in the practice and are willing to spend large sums of money to buy ghost brides for their deceased sons. This demand has created a criminal enterprise where people have murdered innocent women to sell their bodies as ghost brides. From there, the trade in dead bodies began to operate secretly. The prices for bodies vary. The younger and more beautiful the deceased woman, the higher the price. A corpse of a beautiful young woman can fetch over $30,000 on this black market. Corpse traffickers resort to all sorts of methods to make a profit, such as hiring people skilled in cosmetic restoration to work on exhumed corpses, or dyeing the hair of the deceased to make the body look younger and command a higher price. But how do these traffickers source the corpses? They are generally divided into two types: fresh and old. Fresh corpses command higher prices, so dealers often stake out hospitals. When a young woman is critically ill, they may gather at the hospital, waiting to negotiate with the family to buy her body. Because the supply of fresh corpses is limited, hospitals become focal points. Some hospital staff may provide information about critically ill patients to traffickers. If a transaction is successful, these brokers can be paid 2,000 to 3,000 yuan, about $500. If they failed to secure a body, they might still be paid around 500 yuan to continue providing information. Of course, the trade in dead bodies also has a sophisticated black market, with much of the supply coming from grave robbers. In short, the modern practice of ghost marriage has become a gruesome and frightening enterprise that should be eliminated. While it is a part of history, Minghun, particularly in its criminal form, does not represent the traditional beauty of Chinese civilization. China has a vast and rich culture to explore, from the customs passed down for thousands of years by the Han people to the country's magnificent scenic spots. This dark practice is but one small, grim facet of a much larger and more vibrant culture. Thank you for watching today's video. See you in the next one.